Shut up and sit down.
Hi, Sam Quinton with Channel Geek, and I'm joined today by independent comic book creator Brian Hawkins. Brian, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, for all of you who are watching this today, Brian has a current campaign on Kickstarter for an exciting new comic. Brian, what can you tell us about Cornrows?
Cornrows, subtitled "There Are No More Heroes." It's about a PE teacher named Theo Mayfield who is out to avenge the death of a former student, and ultimately he finds out that the tragic event that led to his former student's death is a little bit larger than what he expected.
All right. Now, when did the campaign launch? Pardon me.
January 9th.
January
9th, a week and a couple days ago.
Outstanding. Do you have an idea how many people you're going to need to meet your goal to fulfill your comic and get it in print?
So we're at 80 now, and we're about a third into it, so we need we need 2/3 more. So I would say probably, I think 150, 160, going back and forth with the balance of high backing versus low backing.
All right, outstanding. So you're really just takes a few people to help get this book out into the world.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing about this platform.
Yeah, every single person makes a difference. So remember that, everyone. Every single person can make a difference and help bring this book to the world. Now, how long have you been creating comic books?
2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's been quite the learning curve, the learning experience. I've been very fortunate, with some small successes, which any success is ultimately big, and some failures, and it's taught me a lot. I've learned a lot about a whole lot of different things. So, yeah.
Outstanding. So tell me, what are some other titles that you've worked on since 2012?
So the main one really is a title called America's Kingdom. I've done some independent Kickstarters with that a while, like earlier on. It was a concept that I created, an idea I had when I was in undergrad, actually, and it's gone through different phases of writing, from prose to screenplay, and ultimately I really just settled in on, this is a comic book series. So I actually have 3 issues of that done, and some plans are in play for it to continue, just playing the waiting game now.
I understand.
Yeah.
Kickstarter's really big and has been for quite a while, but let me ask you, what are your thoughts on just how important Kickstarter is to independent comic creators?
Kickstarter is huge. I've had several conversations about this before with some friends and some fellow creators about what Kickstarter is, specifically for comics. And my view of Kickstarter is that it really has become a distribution channel for independent comics. It's crowdfunding, but at the same time, this platform for comics has kind of created this alternative avenue that's juxtaposed against, the mainstream of Diamond. The alternative is there. The only issue with the alternative that I think some creators might have, would be, how much you have to be involved. You really have to make yourself available. You have to reach out. This is really about the creator and the audience connecting. And you have to be willing to connect. You have to be the kind of person that wants to share an experience. So.
That's very true. It's literally just you to the person reading your book. It's very, very hand in hand kind of experience. Now, Kickstarter, like you said, it's very demanding. You know, it really does require a lot of time. So, in preparing for the launch of the campaign for Cornrows, did you receive a lot of support from friends and family, or have you been really the lone gunman on this? You know, fighting the battle on your own?
So for cornrows, going into this one, it's been really about kind of building a team. The one thing I wanted to do with cornrows, um, having come from past experiences, I wanted to build a team, not only like a creative team that actually will produce a book, but a small, close-knit team to help begin to build a community for the book itself.
Outstanding, outstanding. Now that brings up a really good question for me, though. Where do you see Cornrows developing to? Is it going to be a monthly series eventually, funding permitted? I mean, will you be? You think you'll be able to keep this story going that rapidly? 'Cause creating comics,
Mhm.
especially with the art, the illustration, is very time consuming.
A monthly release would be love. It would be great. The plan for it, and we have this close knit team, right? We
Mm,
decided that bi-monthly to do this.
right.
So Cornrows issue 1 has been being worked on for a year and a half, like
Mm,
from concept to art. And so our planning is for it to be able to be released bi-monthly. If we were to continue to go through the crowdfunding platform distribution channel of Kickstarter,
mm.
um, bi-monthly. So if this is funded, the plan is between March 6th and March 19th, to come back for issue 2.
With this comic being one that's it's so different with respect that there's no superpowered villains and no superpowered heroes, do you think the comic book community is ready to step into these more realistic stories?
It's that's a great question, and I would have to say yes. The one thing about the indie comic book community is that it's expanding, and
Yeah.
two, it offers this vast and broad spectrum of storytelling.
Mhm.
And for a lot of times we've looked at ourselves and seen ourselves through superheroes and like our potential, the stuff that we can do, the ability to fly. It's just us ascending and being godlike and doing great things.
Mhm.
The super strength is all about enduring and being able to make change. And so what ends up happening is with the indie community is that we're now taking that human condition, I think, and
Right.
instead of having it to have it reflected in a superpower, we can now let's examine what this looks like for real. Let's really see who we are. Let's see what we can do. So I like to believe it's well timed. I like to believe that that the two superhero universes worlds can exist at the same time. One where there's the fantasized superpowers that I still
Mhm.
believe can teach us a lot about ourselves and is entertaining, and I believe that the real world look of it can also help us to learn and be who we're supposed to be.
All right. So Brian, we're running tight on time on this. I loved having you on, man. You've been a great interview, and I'm loving what you're doing. Can
Thank
you
you.
tell people, why they need to get cornrows and where they can find it on Kickstarter?
All right, so Cornrows issue 1 is about um, Theo Mayfield, and Theo being a PE teacher trying to make a difference in his community, in his city, when something tragic happens to a former student, and it takes him down a path of introspection, of him finding out who he is, against a lot of bad stuff that's happening where he lives. So he wants to make a change. Um, it's a grounded superhero story. And when I say superhero, you know, it's not about superpowers, but you could consider it super feats of action. Someone doing more, trying to do more than what is already being done. And it's set in the real world. And so we're hoping to continue this story. There's a planned ending for this story. So what we want to do is be consistent with Cornrows bi-monthly, starting here. In order to do that, the great thing about Kickstarter and this platform is that it's the creator and the audience is the creator and the backers working together, which I think is a great example of just what humanity is supposed to do.
Outstanding, well said. Now I'll tell you guys, I like what I see on this Kickstarter. I think you will too. Check out Cornrows on Kickstarter. Cornrows issue 1. Sorry, pardon me. Get that first issue. Get that first issue. Help bring this book to print. And until next time, I'm Sam Quinton with Channel Geek. Guys, seriously, check out Cornrows. Make this happen. Thank you very much.